Okay, so before I get into Hidden Ones part 19, I have to say this because I'm going to be talking about Hamites and Shemites. I'm going to say this again. So I'm not a racist person. I know I've said that before, but I like to, remind people, especially when I'm talking about topics like this, talking about nations and tribes and ethnicity. Okay. So my parents, they raised us up to talk to anybody, regardless of their race, to love everybody, right? Yahusha will save anybody of any ethnicity, tribe, or nation, as long as you're willing, right? The Most High loves everybody. Now, he doesn't have a relationship with everybody. He would like to have a relationship with everybody, but it's up to us, right? But the truth has to be said. We have to uncover the deception. We have to uncover the lies. Okay. This has to be said. And not a lot of people speak on topics like this. And so I'm going to say this. I don't have anything against Hamites. The children of Israel, there were times where they would marry outside the tribes, even though they were instructed to marry within amongst themselves, right? And amongst the tribes, because God told them, don't marry, and they would go and marry, the Canaanites. Don't marry the Canaanites. They would go be disobedient. And so there were times where the Most High allowed it, where when Moses married Zipporah was an Ethiopian woman. Okay. She came from the line of Cush, who is one of Ham's sons. When it comes to the Hamites, they went on to build great advanced civilizations, not just Egypt. I know people talk about Egypt a lot, but there was more than just Egypt. There was, the Libyans. They had great civilizations. Remember, I talked about Hannibal the Great, and also Ethiopia as well, and other nations as well. Just because a person is melanated doesn't mean they automatically come from Africa. There are many melanated people that are all over the world that are from different nations and tribes. Just because somebody classifies as black doesn't mean that they're automatically a Hamite. Okay, so me and my friend just took an 8-hour course not too long ago. Maybe I would say more than a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to go into what that course was. It consisted of 5 to 7 people. And toward the end of the course, we had to do some paperwork. And so it was just 3 of us left. It was me, my friend, and this other dude. And he was talking about how he had to do paperwork for something else. And he wanted to put down Hispanic because he's Hispanic descent. And I don't know if he was Puerto Rican, Colombian, Dominican. I don't know what type of Latino he was, but he wanted to put down Hispanic. And when he went to turn in the paperwork, the lady there was saying, no, you're going to put down black. It's either black, white, you're going to put down black. And so, and he was like, why am I going to put down black? I'm Hispanic. That's who I am. And she's like, no, just put down black. And so he kind of went along with it just to get through it. And I said to him, I said, you shouldn't have had to do that. If you are Hispanic, then you should be able to classify as Hispanic. And from what I've seen with, when I was filling out job applications, they'll have, Asian, Pacific Islander. I think some of them may have Native American, white, black or whatever like that. Or instead of black, they'll have African American. And so I said that if it was me, I would have fought that. You know what I mean? I would have fought that and be like, no, I would have been like, if I was Hispanic, I would want to be classified as that. I want to be classified as who I am. And so that being said, is if you don't know who you are, people will put a label on you and they will put you in a category. That's why it's important to know who you are. All right, so I forgot to add this point in the video. I noticed it when I was editing the video, so I have to put this in there. So the Hispanic guy that I was talking about, that he was trying to put down that he was Hispanic and the lady was telling him to put down black. I most likely know why she said that. Because she said that because she was looking at his skin tone, because his skin tone is a lot darker than mine. And so that's the whole point of this video. You can't figure out somebody's nation and tribe by just looking at their skin tone. And when it comes to modern day Yasharel, the Hebrews, we are of different skin tones, all right? But we are the descendants of the Africans, okay, that were taken in the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so growing up, there was some things I wondered about. There was some things that I heard. So when I would fill out applications or do certain type of paperwork and they would ask for what my skin tone was, I would always wonder, why am I putting black? Why do we have to put down what our skin tone is? Because in my mind, I felt like, we're all Americans. I was born here. I'm American. So why do I have to put down my skin tone? Why does that even matter? Another thing, I was working at this particular or specific restaurant, and I was in the back making food at the time, and the manager was up front taking orders. A customer came in, told the manager, he saw me making food. The customer saw me making food, told the manager, I don't want her making my food. And I overheard that. I'm like, why? He pulled the supervisor aside and told him why. And so the supervisor came back in the back, made the food. After the customer left, I was like, why didn't he want me making the food? And he had told me that he believed that all black people are cursed. And I had heard before, all black people come from Ham. And so I've heard that. Like I explained in other videos, it was Canaan, not Ham. Ham wasn't cursed. It was Canaan that was cursed. And so I explained that in a couple of videos back. I don't know which video. I think when I talked about the Canaanites, if you go back to that video, I had explained already that it was Canaan that was cursed. It wasn't Ham. Ham wasn't cursed. Even though Ham was the one that looked upon his father when he was naked or whatever, it wasn't him that was cursed. It was Canaan. And the land of Canaan was given to the children of Israel. Okay, one of the other things I wondered about was, where in Africa did my ancestors come from? Because Africa's not a country. Let me say that again. Africa is not a country. Africa is a continent full of 54 different countries according to the United Nations, which means that Africa consists of many different nations and tribes. And some of these tribes speak multiple languages, because I know some Africans that speak more than one language. Okay. Africa, as it stands today, consists of descendants of Ham, descendants of Shem, also the other nations that came over there, that migrated over there, also the nations that conquered parts of Africa, or I should say most of Africa. Some of their descendants are over there. Okay, so I felt like this was a good stopping point here. And so make sure you watch the next video where I finish the rest of the Hidden Ones Part 19. So I'm going to name that one Hidden Ones Part 19B.